What made you go ahead with the case? I mean, other women may have felt, well, it's difficult, but God, it's going to be so much effort to get through. Why did you go ahead?
Because no one should be treated like that, and the man would not have been treated like that. He'd have been invited to the pub and said, "Oh, Joe, you know, we're not seeing eye to eye, can't you resign?" or, you know, a nice way. No man would have been treated like that.
Would you concede at all, as Nelsons have claimed, that you in fact contributed to your dismissal, that the board mentions in their report that they say you're a strong person who perhaps doesn't put your views in the most tactful way? Would you say you had any responsibility at all? And on Nelson's attitude, they've said, you know, that you were disruptive and you distracted people around you. Do you see any justification in that at all?
No, I had wonderful relationships with people there, and people have come forward to say that. All of the allegations made about me have never been substantiated by anyone.
Would you see at all that you were talking about the fan and you made repeated demands for this fan?
Yes.
You wrote memos.
Mm-hmm. And a man, he would have said, "Okay, Joe, right, I'll get onto it now." In me, well, she's only a woman, you know, why should I do that?
Tell us what you did at Nelson's.
I was a senior designer and studio manager there, and basically I ran the studio as such, and I also designed books like these two. Well, these aren't Thomas Nelson books, these are by another publisher. On this one, I actually did the illustration and the design, and it means just marking up the type and selecting the colours and the colours for the end paper and the case colour and this type and size the pictures. And, you know, I was very pleased with this one. I think it's lovely.
Do you really love your work?
I love doing being a book designer. It's been my ambition.
Are you a lot happier with Macmillan's?
Oh, I love Macmillan's, yeah.
What's your opinion of the board and the way it's handled your case?
I think the board have been terrific. I think Deirdre Fitzgerald comes over as a very, very nice person, and Dr. Sharp is very sharp, and Mrs. Woofenden, I think, learned a lot about sort of management practices. So we had two expert witnesses from the David Syme School of Management in Caulfield, and I think they gave some very good evidence on management procedures. And
yeah. That was great.
Was it?
This is a fairly wide. Just a minute. Okay. Okay. Great.
And would you say that your behaviour towards the company, the repeated demands for fan and the memos you used to write, could be seen as provocative? So I'll do that again. Can I do it once more?
You right? You're doing it again, eh?
I just want to get provocative, right?
Strange.
Right. Would you concede that could you see that the demands... Forget it, I'm going to stop it. We'll do noddies. I'll...
I think if there are any questions, maybe you could put them to us now. I think it's, get that out of the way.
Were you pleased with the amount that was awarded?
Well, obviously we're disappointed, but frankly anything above $2 would have been nice. The point about this whole exercise was to win. I think quite clearly the board wanted to preempt an appeal. I think that we did have grounds for substantial damages. However, the board in its wisdom have found otherwise. I think you must understand that the Act itself is extremely restrictive. It's really a very tricky legal problem. However, we do have other action against this company, and you never know. But we're very happy. The point is, we won.
Yes.
And that's really why we went into this.
I'd like to reiterate that. I'm just delighted that I won. That was the exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And
How did you justify the 95,000?
Well, we thought up a few figures, doubled them a few times, and came up with something. We worked on the assumption that they would appeal no matter what happened, so we thought in for a penny, in for a pound, make them suffer.
Can you appeal now?
Can we appeal? We don't want to
We
appeal.
don't want to
no.
appeal. I don't want to appeal.
No.
Do you feel vindicated?
Oh, wonderfully vindicated. I think, yes,
You,
tremendous victory.
you mentioned just now other action. What sort of other against Nelson?
Against, of course, yes.
Okay. Mark. Mark it. Mark it.
Slope 4.
Great.
What's your reaction to the damages?
We feel, actually, that there's a bitter sense of irony that Nelson should be the company involved in such a hearing as this. We believe we are at the forefront of Australian publishers in the development of feminist materials and in multicultural materials. It's not a decision we feel that we may choose to make on our own. I'll be referring the result of this back to the Thomson organisation, who have been involved from the beginning through the actions of the complainant. They have made this case very public at board level in Canada and in London. So they may have a view as to appeal, and before we make a decision, we'll certainly consult them. And from within the industry, including some very, very supportive statements by women executives in publishing in Australia.
Basically, you're saying what the Equal Opportunity Board has decided is just wrong.
It's ironic, as I said a moment ago, the fact that Nelson, over the last 2 years, has taken a positive action program towards the employment of women. We have deliberately appointed women into positions outside the traditional areas of employment, i.e. editorial and design positions, in marketing and in administration and in publishing. We have developed them and promoted them, and we are delighted at the results we're getting from this program. And I would like to say that this program is not at risk as a result of this decision. We're going to continue with it. And Mr. Yendall, who has been who has been slurred through this decision throughout, is a key executive in this particular positive action program. And I think I'm more upset by the inferences that he is other than a most even-handed person than any other aspect of the whole case.
As Managing Director of Nelson's, are you personally grieved over this?
I've been very upset about several aspects of this case, and I'm not at all happy over certain aspects of the hearing itself, as it happens.
Do you think the stain will stay with Nelson's for a while yet?
I would hope not. I think our general record would suggest that it may not stay with us.
Would you pay the money?
I don't think there's any doubt about that. But I think you're preempting another question as to whether we appeal. I mean, I don't know that I can actually give an answer. We either pay or appeal. I mean, I've already said we have to consider our position regarding an appeal. If we don't appeal, of course we'll pay.
Thank you very much.
Mark it.
Slope 5.
Go. Go.
Are you serious about going ahead with a libel action against Nelson's?
Well, we're considering it. I think we've got a strong case. We're certainly continuing with the county court action, yes, for wrongful dismissal, which I think has been clearly demonstrated by the hearings that have gone on.
Do you feel you've been libelled personally?
Oh yes, I've definitely been libelled by Thomas Nelson Australia.
I don't know. It's up to them. Depends how they calculate it. We've never been afraid of an appeal. We worked on the assumption they would. That's why we thought up a huge figure. We thought in for a penny, in for a pound. So it's really up to them. We will proceed with our action, of course, and we'll see how it goes.
And I think the important thing is that I've been represented by non-legal counsel, and it means that any woman could take an action and it wouldn't cost her a penny. So the 825 or whatever it is all clear profit to us.